my thanks to...
I'm gonna switch this out to this mic. A little bit better. Oh, are we not able to do that? Testing, testing. Can you guys turn this one up a little bit more? Testing.
I want to express my thanks to God for allowing me to be with you today. The outstanding principal and the great reputation the school enjoys. I was blessed in my lifetime of work to work with Dr. King and Nelson Mandela, Cesar Chavez. Sometimes I thought about coming to be with you today. I thought about what would they have me say to you today. First of all, that you matter. You matter.
Yes, we do.
And the only basis for looking down on someone to stop and say the only basis, repeat, the only basis, repeat, the only basis,
The only basis,
looking down on someone, to stop, lift them up.
pull them up.
Because everybody matters.
Everybody.
I lift them up, my character
My character
is made stronger.
is made strong.
Because you believe that he was a battle cry across the years when Dr. King was killed, members in 1968 were forming a place called Resurrection City in Washington, D.C., where we organized poor people to fight back for jobs and health care and housing. And we stayed in tents. It was raining, and it was very muddy there. So about the third week, Dr. King was dead. Robert Kennedy was dead. And there was a sense of despair in the place. 2 or 3 people that died from hepatitis. So one went on the back of the truck. I looked down in the face of most of the women and children and men that had gone home. Had no money to give them, no ticket, no bus ticket, no airplane ticket. I had to say something to them. And I read a book some years ago by Dr. Howard Thurman called Jesus and the Disinherited. It says when you say win, repeat win, you're back, it's against the wall. And nothing seems to go my way. When I stand naked against the world, there's no place to go. I still matter. I am somebody. I am God's child. Everybody stand. Everybody stand. I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. Respect me. Protect me. Never neglect me. I am somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything in the world if my mind can conceive it, and my heart can believe it. I know I can achieve it. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop the violence. Save the children. Down with dope. Up with hope. Down with dope. Up with hope. Keep hope. Alive. Keep hope. Alive. Never surrender. Keep hope. Alive. Keep hope. Alive. And may you scream. Things come to our attention. One is nonviolence. Not because you're scared, but because you're smart. A football player that I knew became all pro a few years ago. He caught the game-winning catch at the end of the game. 2 weeks later, he went to a nightclub with a pistol in his socks. He was arrested. Because of that, he was given 2 years' time. So why do you have the gun? I said, well, I thought there may be some guns there. Wouldn't their right mind but go to what some guns would say, if
If
I know guns are there, if I know violence is likely to be there, I should be wise enough to go another way. He wouldn't really expected that maybe someone that took his gun. He spent 2 years in jail and he never really kind of made it back. That's not Dr. King's real story. Dr. King finished high school at 15. He finished college at 19. Finished seminary at 22. He finished PhD at 26. He was smart and worked hard. More than that, he learned to resist the forces that cripple our capacity to grow. So when Rosa Parks, sat on the back of the bus, and then in the front, was arrested, even though he had a car, her pain was his pain, her pain was his problem. They're the boycott. You hear much about the I Have a Dream speech. The day he gave that speech in Washington, I was there as a student. I just left jail trying to open up facilities in the South. Blacks from Texas across to Florida up to Maryland, we couldn't use a single public toilet. But we couldn't buy ice cream at Howard Johnson. Go in the front door. We couldn't rent a room in Holiday Inn. I was originally trying to use a public library. And one book per 6 of us. Black and brown teachers made less money by law than white teachers. Against those laws, he said, I dream of the day. We'll live beyond the situation. Jails will not stop us from dreaming. Lives will not stop us from dreaming. Looking down on us will not stop us from dreaming. Have the capacity to dream beyond my circumstances. Everybody has a story to tell. A couple of their clothes. I said when I was running the presidency that then somebody running for the White House didn't know the house I was running from. Born a teenage mother in the South. Never stayed with my father. Never watched him shave. Never had his name. In the end, life is hope. There's hope, there's power, and there's possibility. Just because you're born in Islam does not mean Islam was born in you. You can rise above the situation. And so it is that I come to you today to make a case to you today to make some decisions about your life. One of the things Dr. King would say today is that I, as a student here, must not self-destruct. Liquor and drugs and violence. I must not self-destruct. Liquor and violence and drugs. Must not live upon myself or my neighborhood. I alone have the power to resist drugs, alcohol, and violence. I've been blessed with a good body, with a good mind. I must not self-destruct. I ask God to give me a good mind, a strong body, courage in my convictions, and religion that allows me to respect others and I expect to be respected. I am God's child. So the first thing about the King said today is that I will not self-degrade. Second thing, I will not self-degrade. I will not self-degrade. I resist others. I resent others who want to degrade me. Call me a name beneath my dignity. The woman running for Senate today in Mississippi is my guest. She looked forward to being on the front row of another election. That was her story. After 246 years of slavery, blacks, 5,000 were lynched between 1880 and 1950. And Mississippi was the #1 state in lynching. She looked forward to one more lynching. And my guest was running against said no matter the foes may degrade me, look down on me. I will not look down on myself. I will not self-degrade. I'll treat every young lady with respect as if it were my sister. I do not want anybody to call my sister the B word. I will not call another young woman the B word. I am not the N word. I am God's child. There's nothing I cannot do. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything that's important to me. Let me put this another way. Turn the light, I can't see this too much.
Lights.
There is no reason the school is not #1 school in academics in all of Washington. Because there's no reason our school is not #1 in academics in all of Washington. No school has better talent. No school has stronger bodies, minds. It's not my aptitude. It's not my aptitude. My attitude determines my altitude. I intend to realize my dream. Whatever is important to me, I achieve it. Put this another way. Does this school have a basketball team? Are you sure? Man, can you play?
Can we play?
I want the boys' team to stand.
Boys basketball, where you at?
Keep standing. Because do you expect?
Everyone else. Listen up.
You expect to compete? You expect to compete in the state championship? Yeah. You expect to compete in the state championship? Are you convinced you can be a winner? Let me ask you, for example, keep standing. Who's your captain? Captain, let me ask you a question. How many days a week do you practice? 5. How many hours a day do you practice? 2. You ever practice on your own? It's just 2 hours a day. When you're practicing, somebody said 4. When you're practicing, do you ever have radio in practice? You have radio on while you're practicing? You ever have your radio on while you're practicing?
Do you have your radio when you practice?
Okay. You ever have TV on while you're practicing? You're practicing, and your girlfriend comes to practice? When you practice, watch me now, 5 days a week, 2 to 4 hours a day of practice. A radio on TV, your girlfriend. Then you get tired, you tell Coach, I'm tired, I'm sweating, I'm gonna sit down. You sit down when you're tired? Wait, you practice 5 days a week, 2 to 4 hours a day, right? Or radio on TV. And you get tired, you do what you do. You get tired, what you do? But you keep going. Now, let me just be frank. See, this is
It says,
a family meeting. You study 5 days a week. Talk to me now.
Study 5 days a week.
You study 2 hours a night, every night? Okay. I'm trying to make a point here. When you study, you have the radio on and on at night.
when you study, do you have your radio on? No.
You ever have the TV on?
TV?
Your girlfriend ever call you?
Yes.
Call her sometime? You ever call her? Sit down, get the mic.
Man.
So whatever we do, 5 days a week, whatever we do 5 days a week, 3 hours of concentrated time, we can learn to read and write and count. If I study 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, without radio, TV, social visitation, I can master science. I can master STEM like I master the realm. I can master STEM like I master. So I can slam dunk a thought like I slam dunk a basketball. I have the capacity to act and codes and program. This world is my world. Microsoft belongs to me. Put your hands together. Because somehow there's a kind of cultural notion that we cannot achieve academically, so we kind of act like the stereotype. We act kind of hoodish. There are several thousand jobs, that pay 100,000 plus a year at Microsoft. They cannot find people to fill them. You know what they do? They send to India and other countries around to bring in what they call B1 workers. Say Microsoft not pass over South Seattle, looking across the ocean. I have the capacity to occupy $100,000 jobs and go to college myself. I must prepare myself because I matter. Put your hands together, ladies. What's unusual about this when Dr. King, when Emmett Till was killed, when Emmett Till was lynched in 1955, and the woman said she whistled him, but she later admitted she didn't whistle. He didn't whistle at her. And they lynched him. The guy who lynched him felt so proud of himself, he was almost bragging during the trial. They would not convict him. So one writer asked the juror, why didn't you convict him? She said, I cannot imagine a white person going to jail for killing an Indian at that time, a nigger. That was no back to the jury. So only those who rich voters, only those who rich voters have the right to serve on juries. The killer walked the street 40 years because there was no jury to hang him. Meg Evans was killed June 7th, Meg Evans was killed. And likewise, this killer walked free. If I am a voter, I can be a juror. Have the power to determine my destiny. If I stand tall, use my vote, Trump will not trump me. Have the power to determine my destiny. I guess a woman who said last week she wished she could sit on the front row and watch a lynching. It aroused the nation's consciousness. But people believe that all the while. That no one has the right to kill anybody. No one has the right to lynch or hurt anybody. All of us belong on one earth. We're all God's children. Red and yellow, brown, black, and white. We're all precious in God's sight. In this world, 6 billion people. 1/2 of all human beings are Asian. 1/2 of them are Chinese. 1/8 of all human beings are African. 1/4 are Nigerian. Our neighbors in the South, Central, and Latin America speak Spanish. English is minority language in this hemisphere. We must learn to speak Spanish. Learn to speak to our neighbors. Respect them. We must not find comfort in our neighbors' babies are locked up in cages on our border. Our people deserve the right to come to America, coming from the south, the north, or the east, or the west. This land is our land. I will learn to respect black people, and Samoans, and Asians, and white people. It's all of us matter. I will use my mind and my vote as power to change my condition. Dr. King did not die in vain. Mandela did not spend 27 years in jail in vain. I inherit the legacy. I inherit the struggle. I will improve my grades. I will improve my attendance. I will achieve higher. And when schools go in, the state of Washington, we will not only be the best basketball team, we'll be the best in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We pursue STEM like we pursue the rim. Put your hands together. I am somebody. On your feet, respect me, protect me, never neglect me. I am somebody. I'm black. I'm beautiful. I'm proud. I am God's child. I have the power. Over my body, over my mind. Power to read, write, count, think. I have the power to raise the babies. Power to make where I live a safe place. Power to make my parents happy. I'm taking school, having good grades. I will graduate. I will graduate. I will graduate. I will go to college. I will make a difference. I am God's child. Put your hands together.
All right, let's make sure this mic is on, and we're going to do questions. All right, so if you have a question, go ahead and stand up, stand up. You're going to have to yell, okay?
Wait. If you're 18 years of age, I apologize. If you're 18 years of age now, or you'll be 18 by November, you're eligible to register and vote this year. In 1955, 65, in the South, blacks could not vote.
Why women could not serve on juries, 18 years could not vote. You couldn't vote on college campuses, you couldn't vote bilingually. Say, but today, when the Parkland shooting took place in Florida, let those students registered, voted, and changed Florida. If you're 18 now, or be 18 by November, please stand.
If you're 18 now, or if you'll be 18 by November, go ahead and stand up for us. Let's see you. Come on, Beach. Come on, Beach. And this is the photo opportunity as well.
Come on down, come on down, come on down.
All right, 18-year-olds, 18-year-olds. This is the once in a lifetime opportunity. Let's go. Come on down. We got the pit right here. Excellent, excellent.
Wait. So Dr. King and Mandela march down the road, face jail cells and death. You need to have the right to vote. Niggas march down the highway. I can march down the aisle. Come on down, come on down. Come on down.
March down the aisle. Come on down.
If you're 18 now, or be 18 by November, come on down. If you're 18 now, come right on down. All over. If you're 18 years of age now, you'll be 18 by November, come on down. Mr. Principal, you know, every time something happens in one of our schools that's negative, it's on TV that night, somebody got shot, somebody got killed. So tonight, they will see us on television, registering and voting, demanding our share of jobs at Microsoft, demanding our share of education and health care for our families. Because this land is on it. Y'all turn around and face me.
All right, y'all can turn around.
Turn around and face me. No, face me. No, we don't have the registration. I need some paper right quick. Oh, no, no. Who will follow up on registering everybody that's bold standing here? Who will follow up on that? Who'll assume that responsibility?
How many of you guys are registered? Raise your hand if you're registered.
Who's already voted? Who did not vote? Come on stage right quick. Come on with me right quick. Come on stage with me right quick.
18. You guys, come on up. We're going to do
yeah, come on.
Yeah, just walk up the steps. Let's go, come on. Come on, get up. All right. Especially if you're 18, because we have the speeding preference. All right, go ahead and you can say hi, shake your hand.
Young ladies in the front, young ladies in the front. So we will register and vote. We will honor Dr. King's legacy, not just on King's birthday. We'll honor his legacy every day by registering to vote, studying harder, and avoiding self-destruction. Who has the camera? Take pictures.
All right, pictures. Yeah. Yeah. We got about 20 more seconds, and then we're going to transition to questions. 20 seconds. Thank you.
So now, while they're on the stage with me, we want to send a message across the sound today. That we'll feel the rich, so we will send a message across the sound today that we are as capable politically as we are in athletics. Now, while they're here with me, I'm going to answer about 3 questions as quick as I can.
All right, so 3 questions. Who's my first?
Yes, sir. So,
to get access to what? Okay. So he's asking, how hard was it for you to become as successful as you are? He's talking about the challenges of yesterday.
When I was in college as a freshman, I came home at Christmas time I had to do a speech with 25 annotated bibliographers. I went to the colored library, and she didn't have enough books. She sent me downtown to the white library, and she was going to give me the books until 7 days. I said, I have to get back to school. I need the books now. She said, I can't, I will not. And 2 police were with her. Went back and I cried. I felt very despondent. So this summer I'm going to use the library. And 7 classmates, and we used the library, we went to jail. The prominence that came out of, say the prominence, repeat the prominence. They come from suffering, sacrificing, helping someone else, always gives you a leg up on courage. And I never stopped fighting. That's it became to me a personal struggle to fight for dignity. Then we had the right to use the library. We couldn't use the restaurants. We couldn't use the movie theaters. Black and brown and Samoan soldiers had to sit behind knots of prisoners of war on American military bases. We were humiliated. We said we fought for dignity to end humiliation. That's kind of what got me going. Someone.
Another question? Right. Okay, let me go to him because I did promise him then you. So 1, 2, go.
Yes,
nice
sir.
and loud.
All right. Shh.
And let me repeat the question. So he said, some people view the nonviolent resistance as passive. He wants to know, did he see it as passive, and what is his opinion about that?
Well, I mean, in many ways, passive resistance is active resistance.
All right.
The fact that we're willing to go to jail for a principle, that we've been aroused the conscience of the people. If we're going to the library and start throwing rocks, or cursing, or bricks, we've been dismissed as hoodlums. We use our body and our conscience as weapons with which to fight. So we were not cowards. But it seems to me that if Rosa Parks had sat in front of the bus, if Rosa Parks had sat on the front of the bus and started cursing and crying and kicking. No one would respect her. She used her body and her conscience as a weapon. And so that's what past resistance really does mean. Don't mean you're a chump. Now, there are others who said, I'm not going to jail to use the library. But once we wanted to fight, they wanted to use the library. They were passive and they were chumps.
So just because they did passive resistance doesn't mean that you're a chump. Amen.
I think about when I repeat again, in 1963, we came to the march in Washington. We had to drive cars and eat out in the trunk of the car. We could use the public. We had to go behind trees to relieve our bodies. Black soldiers were crying and Latinos were crying because they could not sit where white soldiers sat. But they fought that fight. So you do it today. So today, the freedom that we have, but didn't always exist. On Thanksgiving Day, the Mississippi State and Ole Miss played football together, black and white. Black students had to have the army to get in those schools to play. Now, another point along that same line, why are we so good at football and basketball? Say it again. Yeah, that ain't quite why. My point is that first, you believe you can play, don't you? Right?
You believe you can play.
So whenever the playing field is even, whenever the playing field is even, 10 yards for all touchdowns, 100 yards for all touchdowns, 6 points for a touchdown, 3 points for a field goal. Whenever the playing field is even and the rules are public and the goals are clear, the referee is fair and the score is transparent, we can make it.
We can make it.
But suppose when you played because of your personal color, you had to run 12 yards for a first down and some of the whites had to run 8 yards for a first down. So on the field of play,
On the field of play.
10 yards,
10 yards.
first down for all players. Whenever the rules are fair, we can make it.
We can make it.
But it takes more than, if we have all rules and don't, he said we practice 5 days a week and 4 hours a day. So whatever we do with focus and intentionality, we can prevail. Last question. Young lady. Yes.
All right, Brittany.
You want to ask a question, young lady? Yes. Yes.
Okay, nice and loud. How old were you when you realized what you wanted to do with your life?
I first went to jail when I was 19 because I was in college and trying to, and then while I was into athletics, I went to college on a football scholarship. I realized that dignity was as important to me as scoring a touchdown or hitting a home run, as the case may have been. So I began to study social science and history. And then I was inspired by Dr. King and some other leaders of that generation. And I couldn't make up my mind whether I wanted to go to law school or go to seminary. And so I tried by taking tests, both. And my college president said to me, you seem to have a ministerial drive in you. You ought to consider it. I went and I found my rhythm. So whenever I do my best in search of myself, I'll find myself acting
whatever
I did
I did
in search of myself,
in search of myself,
and if opportunity did show up, I had the capacity
capacity
to read
to read,
and write
to write,
and count
and count,
and think.
and think.
So no matter what you're thinking about doing in the meantime, take mind development seriously. In slavery time, hear this, in slavery time, if the master raped a woman, she could not go to court because she was his property. To be the man, he could not protest, he was his property. But if they caught a master teaching a slave how to read and write, they could go to jail. So strong minds break strong chains.
Break strong chains.
Strong minds
Strong minds
break strong chains.
break strong chains.
People whose minds develop cannot be enslaved
Enslaved.
alone. People whose minds
People whose
are
minds
not developed
are not developed
cannot stay free
cannot stay free
for long.
for long. Thank you. Let's get right here. Last question.
I like working with you guys. I'm coming back again if y'all let me.
So what do you see as our biggest issues today in our society? What steps do we need to do to make a change while keeping God in the center?
One issue we must do today is fight for the right to a first-class education and seize it.
Yes.
We should fight for free college tuition, eliminate student debt upon graduation, and be prepared to go to grad school. Now, the one issue is affordable, education should be seen as human right. Affordable health care. You can never determine when you're going to get sick on what condition. And so, fighting for today, the big fight now is affordable health care. So 50 million Americans
50 million Americans
have no health insurance.
have no health insurance.
They often go to the hospital when it's too late,
When it's too late.
and they die. But the third piece is no matter
No matter
what I want,
what I want,
education,
education,
health care,
healthcare,
voters
voters,
rule it. Voters determine
voters determine
priority.
the
The
priority.
reason why I asked, I want your high school, you come across the stage in May or June. On every high school senior have a diploma in one hand and a voter card in the other. So when
When
I walk across the stage
I walk across the
at
stage
graduation,
for graduation,
I will have
I will have
a voter card
a voter card
in one hand
in one hand,
symbolizing
symbolizing
power,
power,
responsibility, a
responsibility,
diploma
a
in the
diploma
other
in
hand
the other hand,
symbolizing
symbolizing
knowledge
knowledge
and growth.
and growth.
Meaning all of your life. And I just want to make sure that we must make people dump drugs on us. We're suckers to consume. If you know someone in your age group who's tried drugs, raise your hand. You know someone who's tried drugs,
If
raise
you
your
know
hand.
someone who has tried drugs, raise your hand. A quick survey real quick. Drugs.
You know someone who's tried drugs.
Do you know someone?
Now, shh. Now, hear me now.
You can put your hands on.
The enemy does not have to destroy you. If you choose to destroy yourself. So drugs
Drugs
are at best
are at best
short-term pleasure,
short-term pleasure,
long-term pain.
Long-term pain.
Those drugs represent
Drugs represent
destruction of my mind,
of my mind,
my body,
of my body,
and my spirit.
and my
And
spirit.
I am high
High
on drugs.
on drugs.
I do things
I do things
I didn't mean to do.
I didn't mean to do.
When I come into myself,
When I come into myself,
oftentimes
oftentimes
I'm in jail,
I'm in jail,
on a graveyard,
in the graveyard.
and it's too late.
It's too
So
late.
you have to make some decisions for yourself. The reason why I mentioned I was born a teenage mother and all that, see, people care that you know. See, people care
People care
that you know.
that you know.
They want to know
You want to know
that you care.
that you care.
People care
People care
that you know.
that you know.
They want to know
They want to know
that you care.
that you care.
No matter
No matter
where you come from,
where you come
no
from,
matter
no matter
your circumstance,
the
if
circumstance,
you can't read
you can read
and write
and write
and type,
and type.
they will pity you, but they won't hire you. Y'all get that point? So I don't want to be pitied.
I don't want to
On
be
work
pitied.
and build. And the beautiful part about today's technology, you actually can build from your own house, your own business. So I can build
I can build
as much
as much
as my imagination
as my imagination
allows me to do.
allows me to.
If I can imagine it,
If I can
if
imagine,
my mind
my mind
can conceive it,
can conceive,
and my heart
and my heart
can believe it,
can believe it,
I can
I can
achieve it.
achieve it.
I used to wonder, you go to see Stevie Wonder because he's blind. He practiced music all night. Aretha Franklin died about 2 months ago. Aretha was still taking voice lessons. When we see the football players on Sunday afternoon do the little dance and when they make a touchdown or something like that, we tend to miss their work schedule. We see that, see when athletes celebrate the end zone on Sunday, that's the result of their work. When the Seahawks beat the Panthers last weekend in Charlotte, they flew back home that night, 7-hour flight from Charlotte to Seattle. They went by the training room on Monday. They had an patches to made up and spent time with family. On Tuesday morning, they were in the weight room at 7 o'clock. They were studying the other team's plays at 9. Had a lunch break at 12. They worked out in the afternoon. They went back to the weight room at 7 o'clock. They say most athletes work 12 hours
12 hours
a day.
a day.
Then they have no contact drills on Wednesday and Thursday. They're back on the plane again, flying to New York. So athletes, when they dance
When they dance
in the end zone,
in the end zone,
that's the result
that's the result
of the work
of the work
preceded the celebration.
the celebration.
So we tend to see, and athletes are singers, the results of their work. We tend not to see the process. And no one
No one
is good
is good.
because they're lucky. One woman said no one
No one
is good
is good
because they're lucky.
because they're lucky.
They're good,
They're good.
they worked hard,
Work hard.
they're meant to achieve.
They're meant to achieve.
Last one that
Is it okay if some students stay back and take pictures of you?
No. Please.
So this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we get to take a selfie with Reverend Jesse Jackson. So what you're going to do, everybody's going to stand, he's going to turn around, and then we're going to take a picture. So all you guys will be in the background. So everybody stand up, and we're going to take some pictures. When I just